Nintendo's concerned with the Switch successor. So Nintendo's financial reports came in the other day and it's basically sold almost 110 million consoles. I think it was 107 million, making it like the 5th best-selling gaming console of all time in the world, right? Which is crazy. And sort of in those discussions, it was raised about the Switch's successor. So the Switch has been out since 2017. That's 5 years now. And well, everyone's been wanting like a Switch Pro or a successor. And Nintendo have basically said they're a bit concerned about the next generation of Nintendo console, pretty much because of the issues they faced in the past. So they haven't been exactly amazing with backwards compatibility. Like, you know, they've been all right when you look at it. When you look at the GameCube and the Wii, well, the Wii could actually play GameCube games, and then the Wii to the Wii U, well, the Wii U could play Wii games, but not GameCube games, and etc. So they've kind of always had a bit of an element to backwards compatibility, but not good enough, let's say. And now the Switch, well, we're 5 years in and they're pretty much still saying that it's about halfway through its life cycle and that they're more focused on trying to build a longer lasting relationship with customers rather than just kind of like ditching it and jumping into something new. And of course, with the Switch being so widely accepted, compared to like the Wii U, Switch has sold nearly 110 million. Wii U sold about 13 million, which was an absolute flop. They're clearly a little bit scared about a repeat of the Wii U, but it doesn't have to be that way. I've said this time and time and again. They have hit the jackpot with the Nintendo Switch, and they don't need to release any new hardware in terms of like a completely different successor. All they need to do is keep making the Switch. Make it like the iPhone. I'm only choosing iPhone because it's the most easy like reference to get my point across, in the fact that it's never really changed. The very first iPhone to the iPhone now almost is exactly the same. The only thing that's ever changed is better components, better screens, just better technology, but they're all essentially the same thing. They even look the same, even the UI is the same, everything is pretty much the same. And that's all that they need to do with the Switch. Keep the Switch line running and then make the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or the Super Nintendo Switch, whatever they want to call it, and just make it better internals. Get an updated chip inside there, get some sort of like, you know, NVIDIA DLSS or even ray tracing or something in there that makes it that next standout system, but still be able to play all the old games. Maybe there's like some sort of technology that they can upscale the older games, so they're like the Switch games, to make them, let's say, 4K, like via DLSS from NVIDIA or whatever, and keep them running side by side so that there's always this progression. The same with Nintendo Switch Online with the virtual console stuff. Don't stop that. They're only now just starting to build this up. This has only come around in the past like year, really, in terms of, you know, them bringing N64, and that's all that's on there at the minute with the expansion pack. They still have room to bring the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance. They could bring GameCube, they could bring Wii, they could bring so many games to the Nintendo Switch Online subscription to make it more like a Games Pass or like the PlayStation Now thing. Like, they could just keep rolling this on and make the ultimate Nintendo Switch. You know, it could maybe have a 1080p screen. I'm not overly fussed about that because I think the 720p looks pretty good and handheld myself, but you know, maybe a 1080p screen. Like I said, better internals, so every game runs at 1080p 60. Maybe you could run it on your TV at like locked 1080p 60 on every single game, or maybe like a 4K 30 FPS, like, you know, so you can choose between performance mode and like fidelity or whatever. Like, that would be so cool. Like, I don't think they need to be concerned, but they kind of are hinting at that when they say that they are wanting to build a longer lasting relationship with customers, and that they are basically making way more titles than ever, even though the Switch is already at the 5-year mark. And that to me kind of hints at maybe that's where they're going. I mean, obviously they're going to be testing new ideas, like totally abstract, random concepts, because it's Nintendo. I mean, look at all of their consoles. They're all so random, but I think they're probably trying out some different stuff in the background, but I also think they are having it in mind that, okay, the Switch has done extremely well. Maybe let's just keep pushing that. I mean, that's why they're making such huge games. We still got Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, which, you know, is coming soon. We've got Metroid Prime 4, which is well into development. Like, we're not still gonna see that until next year or the year after. I've said this before that I don't expect to see any kind of Switch Pro or successor until maybe the end of 2023 or even the end of 2024, and that's still a couple of years away yet. So I personally, fingers crossed, all I want from them is to keep making the Switch better. I wouldn't care if they never released a new console. I mean, maybe spin-off ones, maybe it's like a TV-only Switch or something like that if people just want that. But personally, for me, the Switch is the best console ever because I've got handheld and TV docked mode, and it doesn't differ. I play the same games. I can just pick it up and leave where I want. And as a handheld gamer, I love having my main console in my hands to play wherever I want. But I want better performance. I want better performance in handheld mode, and I want better performance in TV mode. So if they can just beef it up, then I'm happy. So, I mean, what do you make of all this? Do you think they're gonna go down the random route and in 2 years' time we're gonna see some totally abstract console that will probably tank? Or maybe it's amazing, but I don't see how they can make it any better than the Switch is already, because it already ticks all the boxes. Just put better hardware in it, make it like the iPhone, Nintendo will rule the world, and well, there we go. And if you want to see some more information about what might be coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service expansion pack, then go check out this video where we talk about all those rumors about the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance potentially coming over to Nintendo Switch Online. There's all this information and more, so go and click that video. But before we do anything, go down there and subscribe too. You want to make sure you're subscribed because we release so much good content and we're a tiny channel, so support us please. Do it.